Good evening, guys. I hope you're all well. Thank you for joining me tonight here on Wednesday at 8 p.m. On Wednesday evening. Yep, just doing a sound check. Everything's all right there. Thank you. We're trying something different out here. It's a different method of live streaming, and the reason being is I've been talking with Facebook for some time, trying to get this kind of setup working, and every time I tried this type of live stream I always ended up with either a delay or broken audio. So thank you for joining us. Courtney Curtis, thank you. Karen Dunn, thank you for joining us. And Kerry Renton, I hope you're watching with Ben and Blossom. Hope everyone's well. And Barry Frankish, thank you for joining us as well. Barry's from BRF Paranormal. So if you are watching from a group, if you're part of a group, if you're part of a paranormal team, a medium or anything else which has a social media link, now is your time to post your link in the bottom here, or if you're watching off your mobile phone, one of them sides. For those who's joining tonight, good evening, Craig Whitney. For those who are going to join this live stream tonight, should I say, my name's Neil Cook. I'm a spirit medium. I'm a freelance working medium, which means I'm available to work with you guys as well. I'm also my partner Vicky Hardy, who's also my manager, who's monitoring the conversation in the background. She is part of GSI Paranormal, the GSI Paranormal family. If you don't know who they are, then pop along and see the GSI Paranormal page and see what they're all doing. Sheila Richardson, thank you for joining us as well. June, thank you for joining us. Good evening, everybody. What I'd like you to do, if possible, guys, is like and share this feed. And the reason why I ask you to share is because it will hit your audience, it will hit your people who follow what you do, i.e. the spiritual side of things and the paranormal side of things. Every time you share, I get a notification and I'll give you a big shout out. Good evening, Nicole White. Hope you're well. And yeah, it'll hit the right audience rather than me sharing it to the wrong audience. Good evening, Alison. Hope you're well. Good evening, Rebecca. Hope you're well. If you're new to the channel and you're following this tonight, you're watching it, then please feel free to let me know where you're watching from as well. Always welcome on the BRF channel. Thank you, Barry. I appreciate that. We were looking forward to working with you soon. I guess it's still in the pipeline as and when we can all gel in and fit together and work. Thank you for sharing, Kerry. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Alexa, thank you for joining us. Rebecca, thank you for joining us as well. You were sorry?
Pod's watching.
And thank you, Peter, for watching. Probably his first time. He gets sick of my voice anyway, and with respect, he'll probably tune off. Peter's my brother, by the way. I'll give a shout out to Peter for me. But yeah, feel free to like and share, guys. It will hit the right audience rather than me sharing it to the wrong people. It's easier for you guys to share it to the right people, if that makes sense. Douglas, thank you for joining us as well. Dougie, old friend of mine. Right, topics tonight. The topics are your topics, guys. Whatever you want to talk about, guys, feel free to ask or just start the topic full stop. One thing I'd like to talk about is a good friend of mine, Derek Akara, who, as you're probably all aware, in the Big Brother house, the celebrity Big Brother house. And I'm looking to talk about your views with regards to his beliefs, my beliefs, spiritualism, what we do as mediums, psychic mediums, and what do you think the reaction's going to be in the audience he's going to have. And where I'm going with that, what I mean is that someone like Derek Akara will always go to the right audience because of what he does, but when you stick him in a place which is surrounded by other celebrities who come from all walks of fields, from reality shows to TV programs and films, then the majority of the audience are going to tune in for the majority of the people who are in there. And then you've got one guy who's a psychic medium. How do you think this is? How do you think this will react on him? How do you think? How can I put it? There's a lot of, well, if I can put it this way, it's a hard subject this, but there's only there's only 3 in 10 people in the UK who believe in life after death, mediumship, spiritual side of things, and the paranormal side of things. But in America, it's 7 in 10 who all believe in all that stuff. So because it's a UK based program, and more than likely the audience is all going to be UK, then you're going to have a minority who don't believe in all this kind of stuff, and then obviously a very small percent who do, are going to be his friends following. Good evening, Deborah, hope you're well. Good evening, Jane Chu, Joanne Lewis, thank you for joining us, and Vicky Cook, thank you for joining us as well. Hope you guys are well. Like I say, anyone who hasn't been on this channel before watching my spiritual and paranormal stuff, then feel free to share. If you have anything going on in the social media field which is kind of a page of yours, then this is your time to share. There's a lot of good people here watching tonight who are all into everything what we're all talking about tonight, so they won't mind. I'm just reading the comments here. Sarah Edwards, thank you for joining us. Rebecca Cunliffe, what did you say there, Vicky? What was that?
What Rebecca said.
Yeah, she said.
I don't think Derek should be in there. To be honest, I think he'll be bullied and insulted. Well, we've already seen that, haven't we?
Yeah, we've already seen that, and the biggest bullies behind it were Celebrity Big Brother themselves. They asked what's his name, Sean, the old Barry from EastEnders, to physically go up and give him a cuddle and ask for his blessing and all that kind of thing. And I think that was them taking the mickey out of his beliefs. One thing which upsets me about that is spiritualism is a religion, and people's beliefs, we shouldn't mock its diversity. If that's what they want to believe and do, then let them get on with it, providing we don't force feed and preach to people. Then what is the problem? Therefore, why is Big Brother taking the Michael out of this person's beliefs? And I thought that was a kind of thing like that. I don't know what your views are on it with regards to what you may have seen. I'm not quite sure, but this is your time to we'll talk about it now if you want to. Julie Skinner, thank you for joining us, and Jonathan Sayer, thank you for joining us as well. If you're new to this, let us know where you're watching from, guys, just so we can see where our audience is coming in from around the world, whether it's the UK or somewhere bigger. Ian Parnaby, thank you for joining us, work colleague of mine. Robin Jez, thank you for joining us as well. I'm just trying to see who else is here who I haven't mentioned. If you don't know me and you're watching for the first time, then let me know where you're watching from. It'll be interesting just to see how far the audience is from this page. And another subject we want to talk about, which I hit on the other night on the other live stream, was reincarnation and past life regression. Me and Vicky have got something up our sleeve and an interview to take place with a child who believes well, do you want to explain it, Vicky, if you can hear it?
Yeah, as you know, I work in a school, and this little 4-year-old boy came up to me on the playground and just started spurting out a past life that he'd had. And when I was speaking to one of the dinner ladies who knows his mum really well, she said he tells the same story since he's been 2-year-old, and nothing changes, but the detail that he's able to give is, there's no way that he could possibly know that stuff. She's never taken him to a train station. He used to turn the tracks. He used to pull the lever that turned the tracks. That was his old job. But his mum's never showed him anything like that. He's never seen anything like that, but he can tell in such detail of what his job used to be. And he gets quite mad when you say something that isn't correct. So we're looking into going and doing a little documentary with him and spending a couple of hours with him to see if we can get his side of the story.
Yes, it initially sounds like his past life is coming through, and being a very young child, like we've always said on here, children are more spiritual than we actually know, because that part of the brain is still quite active, it's still working, and it's not full of clutter. And more children and youths tend to have more spiritual experiences than the older people, because we tend to get all that part of our brain blocked up with everything else, from the birds and the bees to our mortgages and everything else. And one person who can actually validate what I'm going to say next, and I did hit on this the other day on the live stream, my brother Peter, who's watching, when I was a child and I used to travel to and from my nana's, from one location in Middlesbrough to a seaside town called Redcar, every time I used to pass a churchyard on the bus, which it was pitch black dark, I couldn't see this churchyard was outside. I always used to say to my mum and dad, this is where I got stabbed in my deck chair. Now, one, I couldn't see out the window because I was too small. Two, more than likely the window was all steamed up anyway. And three, how did I know I was passing this location every time? And what is the connection with this churchyard and me saying what I was saying? Now, there is a bit of validation there, because this churchyard is not a million miles away from the beach. So are we looking at past life experiences here? Are we talking about past life regression? Are we talking about something which previously happened to me in another lifetime on one of my other previous lives? You'll have to forgive me if I'm looking up here, because I know the webcam's right in front of me, and excuse me pointing, but I'm kind of watching myself rather than staring at the camera. But I will try and do that, because I'm also reading your comments as well, guys, so please forgive me for kind of looking away from the camera.
Commented, this sounds like you're stabbed in the deck chair, so is saying the same. Yeah,
we used to pass a location every weekend on our way to our nana's, me and my brother Peter, with my mum and dad, or maybe just with my mum, I can't remember. And every time we passed this little village called Kirkleatham, which is on the outskirts of Redcar, I used to say the same thing every time. This is where I got stabbed in my deck chair. And I think I was saying this from the age of maybe 3 to 5. I honestly can't remember. But I always remember this being a lifelong joke in the family as I got older, and as my brother's just confirmed it there for validation. Have you guys had this kind of thing, this transgression or past life regression, should I say? Is it something you guys have experienced? Vicky's reading your comments now. If you have something to say about that, it'll be interesting to know. I do know Karen Dunn has actually been hypnotised with regards to this. She went off to see someone who actually deals with this under hypnosis. I can't say it. Got my mum's false teeth in. I think it's you, Karen. If that's correct, then give me a thumbs up. I'm almost sure it was you telling me the story. Let me just give some shout outs to you guys here, and excuse my nostrils close up to the camera. Yes, past life regression from Karen, that's right. Alison Sayre, good evening, hope you're well. You're saying yes. Is it yes to what I've just asked? If so, please let us know. Josephine, thank you for sharing, please, we appreciate that. Let's just nip down the whole. Robbie Barnes, one of my admin guys, has had past life regression. I should read it in my mind first, shouldn't I? Nicole White, I hope it makes people more interested in the paranormal and helps with others who have the ability but scared to show it. Well, this is what I talked about, Nicole. Your partner Michael, who is very sensitive and a developing medium, I told him how he needs to come out, and forgive the terminology, but what I mean by that is let people know what he does and then wait for the audience to come to them, because I was always told never to go up to people and preach. Let them come to you and ask the question, and once they've shown an interest, then you're not preaching, because you're gonna answer their questions. So and that's what you need to do, rather than over his personal Facebook page, just blurt everything out and then scare half of his audience, half of his friends and family on there, then set up a separate page. And you believe me, before you know it, people will have shared his page, people will have seen his page, and they'll come forward and send them friends requests. And like I've always said, on this page itself, I've never, unless requested to do so, never sent a friend's request out. I know Facebook actually chopped half of my audience in half because there was that many, and I'm at 751, but maybe after this live feed there might be a few more like last weekend. Anything else, Vicky? Can I just say a big thank you to a friend of mine called Jo Scott. She made me this cup. This is my spirit guide Phil, my Texan cowboy, bless her. And obviously this is my name. I've just learnt it. I was a slow learning to read and write. I'm only joking, Joe. But yeah, thank you for that. I have got something else what someone sent me. Nicole's partner, Michael, sent me Ghostbusting wallet and metal case. But if you ever want to send me anything, then please do. I'm just being cheeky. But cigars, I love my cigars. If you want to send me some cigars, send me some cigars. Right, what was that other subject we talked about, Vicky? The regression, and what else?
I don't know. Can't remember.
You're supposed to be managing me.
Sorry.
Right, let's see if we've got any topics, guys. Come on, this is your opportunity to ask the question. Yes, I was a Chinese woman. Right, it'd be interesting to know about that, June. Please feel free to share this experience you've had with regards to your previous life. Let me see what else. Debbie, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing this feed as well. I really appreciate that. Kaz Dunn, apparently I was a waitress in the 1900s, but also in the 1500s. I was a farmer's wife, and Googling my name and places when I got home, they were all factual. That's amazing. That I can remember you telling me the story. I know I've got it in my private inbox. It was a good read. It was amazing. It's something I've always wanted to do, and I've never got round to it. And I know you sent me the link for this. It would be very interesting to do, to be put under an hypnotic state, and then obviously let someone bring out everything from a previous life path. Like I always say, the hypnotic state is the time when you connect to not only your inner soul, but your spirit world, your spirit guides and your loved ones in spirit. And it'd be amazing to find out some of my previous life paths as well, if there's many. Let's just pop down. Need a prayer of healing. Okay, Debbie, I've got that. Let me know what you need the healing for, and I will send it out after this live stream. And these guys who are all watching and listening as we speak will also do that for you as well. There's some very good people on here, some sensitive people with the capabilities of sending what you need. But don't forget to ask yourself, the universe is always listening. You can always ask for the higher side of life to send you what you need. And although it may not come overnight, they do listen. The spirit world are always listening, and they will send that. You'll have to excuse me, but here in the northeast of England, it's very hot and humid tonight. I might have to get the patio doors open because, as you can see, I've got sweat tears running down my head. Sweat tears running down my head. Let me just pop down here.
Tell everyone what we've been laughing at today. That advert.
Oh, the advert. Let me just read down these posts.
Peter's going to say bye.
See you later, Peter. Have a good evening, mate. Watching from Canada. Wow, Alexa, is that how you pronounce your name, Alexa? Awesome. Thank you for joining us, and all the way from Canada. I dare say you're, I think, about 5 or 6 hours behind us, I believe, if that's correct. we slightly in front of you, and it is 20 minutes past 8 on Wednesday evening, so you're probably early doors in the morning. Karen Parrott, thank you for joining us as well. Good evening, hope you're well. I need the worldwide prayers for Alison Dickey, if that's pronounced right, for her safe return. I think she's been taken into human trafficking and she's been missing for a while, only 15 years old, and a friend of the family in Texas, USA. Right, okay then, I'll certainly look into that for you and see if we can get something done there for you. See if we can send some healing, and obviously, like we said, ask the higher side of life to assist. Jason Harris, thank you for joining us, and Helen Fraser, also thank you for joining us. Hope you're well, guys. Like I said, this is your opportunity to send them questions. If you have any burning question with regards to the paranormal and the spirit world, then I'll do my utmost best to do it. I'm not looking to do an individual connection with spirit and your loved ones and your good selves, but obviously if I do connect, then I will pass this information on. One thing I did say in my live stream last time was working through social media and doing the one-to-one connections. That way I don't believe you can make a personal connection anymore. It's so hard to do so, and when you've got an audience like your good selves, then obviously it could be linked with the other energies which are here as well, and I do prefer to do the one-to-one things rather than the Facebook, the FaceTime and the Skype calling. Now it's a lot easier for myself. Also, what I want to say, and I'll see if I can get the link up without being distracted too much, but my good friend Lee Steer, who's part of Goose of Britain, is doing something really good, hopefully starting tomorrow. Myself and some very big names are going to be part of it, and it's well worth a watch. Let me just get the link for you guys. I'll see how quick I can pull it up off his wall. Lee Steer, who's part of Goose of Britain. I know the majority of the people who are on here this evening are also part of some of these big people's pages as well. But I tell you what, let me just quickly get it up and it'll be easier for me to... I didn't think he posts as much stuff as I did on a daily basis, and when you go looking for it, you've got miles to go down the page. Here we go, right. It's not going to allow me to share that, is it? Because it's not a link. The Ghost Hunting TV talk show, the guest lineup for it, there's some really big names in there. We've got the Haunted Australia from Sci-Fi Channel, my good self, we've got Paranormal Talk, and a few other big names, Chris David, Dale, I should have Matkins from Paranormal Truth, and Rylene Cable from the Sci-Fi TV series Haunted Australia. Anyone who watches that, you've got your Ian Lawman and the other big names in there along with it. It's the Australian version of Ghost Adventurers, I would say. But yes, starting from tomorrow, he's doing the Ghost Hunting TV talk show, where no doubt he's going to post it. I'll be speaking to him very, very soon, and he'll be letting me know at what point I'll be slotted into the TV programme series for Goose of Britain, where not only can you see my good self, but some of the other guys on there. Can you make one more world famous carrot cake, please? Someone's asking me to make one of my infamous carrot cakes for charity. Yes, I can do that for you, Kerry. Just let me know the date and time, and if you promise me you won't eat it yourself or lick the topping off it, then I can certainly do that for you guys. But like I say, let me know the dates and times, and give me time to bake, and then I'll do that for you. I know you're not too far away, so that's easy for me to do and plausible. Yes?
There's a question of Carl Bland.
Yep.
I've had a very large amount of experience with spirits in my life. When I was born, I was only given 2 hours to live, and I'm 44 years on. I could the closeness to death when I was born be a factor in the amount of spirits and experiences I've had?
Yes, Carol, that is quite plausible. Near-death experience as well. It's obvious it wasn't your time to go, and your destiny and your path in life is obviously a lot longer than the 2-hour brief thing which happened from birth. I would say that if you were a cat, you'd have used up one of your 9 lives. Forgive me for portraying it that way, but yes, I would say that some of the greatest protectors in your family history, your spiritual guides, not only your spirit guide itself, but your other spiritual guides as well, your loved ones in spirit, were certainly assisting with your birth in the first early hours of you being here on this earth plane. Our life path is set in stone. It's fate, what we're going to do from start to finish, whether it's 2 hours or 2 weeks or 2 years or 200 years. It's unchangeable, right? So obviously your life path is going to go on for a lot longer than what was initially thought from birth. I dare say that you scared everyone who was around you at the time, bless them, but obviously validation from spirit that they were looking out for you from then and so forth, and obviously that's your evidence for you with regards to that. But yeah, I've always said when it's time to go, it's time to go. Fortunately, it wasn't time to go for you back then, and at 44 years of age, you're doing pretty good. Dale Field, thank you for joining us as well. If you're new to the channel, which I don't think you've watched one of my live feeds before, it's self-explanatory. We're here talking about the paranormal world and spirituality and anything else you want to talk about as well, Dale. But thank you for joining us as well. I have a birthmark on my back and neck. What past life did this happen in? Now, there's a thing about this. They normally say what's the word for it? But they say that normally the birthmark covers the spot from your previous death. If that's so, then I must have maybe got stabbed on my nose, because from being a child, I was always called Feather Nose, and if I come up to the camera close enough, you can see a little hole there in my nose, and if I don't shave that hole there, then I get hair growing out of it. So that's my birthmark, and I used to be called Feather Nose as a kid because I have a little hole in my nose and a little tuft of hair grows out if I don't shave it. Yes, I was also called Unicorn as well, and a lot more other things as well. But yeah, I've heard that before. They say that the birthmark covers the war wound of what you died with, or your injuries of death in your previous life. If that's true or not, then I think I've got quite a few wounds all over me, and I think Vicky got run over by a semi-truck or something for the amount of marks which are on her body. But yeah, it's a good one, that, and it's worth Googling to read up on that. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. Mick has a big one. Does he? It's your writing's broken up there. I don't know what you're trying to say, but I'm assuming it's on about your birthmark as well. Whether you corrected what you typed there, because it looks like it's just changed. Oh no, you've typed again. Mandy Babeless, thank you for joining us as well. Hope you're well. One person who couldn't be with us tonight was Helen Steels, who normally joins this. It's a shame you couldn't catch this, but no doubt you will later on at a later date. Junior mate, great stuff. Looking forward to meeting up one day. Yes, we have spoke previously, Dale. It would be nice to work alongside of you, or with you, or under you, with regards to what you do. It's I know we're like-minded with regards to everything paranormal and spiritual and mediumship, and I've only ever seen your travels around the world up to now, but to actually get to meet you would be great one day soon, hopefully. If you're in my neighbourhood, give us a shout out, and vice versa if we're coming your way too. That would be good. Your granddaughter has a strawberry, how is that pronounced? Nevis on her left hand and one on her right hand side of her ribs. That writing's moving too quick, sorry about this. Could this be from past life as well? It's something I've never looked into, Josephine, and it's not something I haven't heard of before. I just honestly don't know. If it's God's plaster to cover up your old war wound, then yes, if that's your beliefs, or if it's just a phenomena as a skin deflection, what's the word I'm looking for now? Defect. If it's just a skin defect or something which is hereditary and we all born with them, if our parents, I have seen someone with a birthmark on the back of their leg and it looked like Australia. It did. It was like the shape of Australia.
I've got a few questions.
Yep.
I want to go back. Do you believe that heart-shaped birthmarks are an actual signs of reincarnation? It goes back to what you believe in, isn't it? I suppose.
It
I
is.
don't think there's any scientific fact. Well, there's probably scientific facts on birthmarks. So we'll have to Google it.
It's who you speak to. If you speak to a professor in medical care, then obviously he's just going to say it's something to do with the body and skin. If you speak to someone who looks into all this stuff with regards to past life regression and reincarnation, then he's going to tell you something different. Again, I can't answer it because it's something I've never looked into, but because it's a topic now, I'm going to Google it and read up on it. But it's who you ask, which audience you put it out there to, then obviously it's what answer you're going to get. And like I've always said in my live streams, guys, with regards to what you want to take as evidence, it's what you accept as a sign. It's like when we talk about spiritual connection, when we lose a loved one and we find the white feather, or when we lose a loved one and we get the sign from spirit, whether it be the smell clairsensious, the audible noise as clair audible, or something appearing in your garden which has never grew there before, but it was your loved one's favourite flower. It's what you accept as a sign. And it's funny, we were talking about faith just a little bit ago, and with regards to diversity, and our good friend Derek Okora, who's gone into the Celebrity Big Brother house, it's a shame that people won't allow people to have a faith, because I've always said that if that little old lady has something to look forward to, her beliefs, her faith, whether anyone else believes it or not, just to help her out for her end of days, then let her think that, let her believe that, no matter what her religion is. Because I say there's an awful lot. There's many religions out there, many different faiths and beliefs, but they all lead to the same bright light at the end of it. They all talk about the same bearded man. There's the same things happening on earth. Doesn't matter what language it's in. It's all from the same songbook. It is, and like I said, if it gives that person comfort, that faith, belief, then let them do it. And with regards to that and the spiritual signs, if that gives you some faith, belief, or what you would class as validation from spirit, then accept it as that. It's like our good friend Derek Okora once said, to the believer there's no proof necessary, and to the non-believer there's no proof. But it was actually said in the other way around. But yeah, it's whatever you believe in, whatever you accept to be an evidence. Lisa Bowes, thank you. Robin Lee, thank you for joining us. Yep.
Got another question.
Neil,
do you think you can have a spirit guide that is from the dark/demon?
I'm curious who's asked that question. It's
Jonathan Sayers.
Jonathan Sayers, right. Many times I say on this live stream, Jonathan, we'll only ever deal with what once walked on this earth. And once we take our transition to the spirit world, when we die and we move onto the spirit world, the spirit plane from this earth plane, if we were to reincarnate, or if we were to stay there as a to be a guide and come back from the higher side of life, then we're only going to come back as our character or with whatever connection we have to you. So at some point in my life, I genuinely believe in one of my other life plans that me and my spirit guide were working together in another part of the world, whether it was a family link, a relationship link, or something else. We were connected in a previous lifetime, and he's now acting as my guide now. And I'd like to think that when I pass over into spirit, I would then be someone else's spirit guide, and there's no reason why I won't. Now, getting back to your question, and I do ramble, like I said, we'll only ever deal with what once walked on this earth. Now, as far as we're aware, and as far as whatever we'll deal with in our lifetime, our life path on this earth, what's the worst? What do you class as demonic, negative? I mean, the worst thing you'll ever deal with is the grumpy old man who lives next door, who keeps shouting at you when you have a party. But what is demonic, which is passed over into the spirit world and come back? Are we going into a darker side, going back to the biblical times of the fallen angels and what didn't get into this so-called heaven? I genuinely believe us normal people, and if I can class myself as a normal person, we'll only ever deal with what once ever walked on this earth. I've only ever connected with and spoke with spirit who once lived on this earth plane in certain locations around the country and world. I'll only ever deal with them. I'm not going to connect or go out and try and connect with anything darker than that. And I don't believe that the character of your spirit guide would come back with a darker side. I don't genuinely believe that. I hope that makes a little bit of sense, but it does when I'm thinking about it. It just doesn't come out right. Excuse me. One of my guides was a guide from Cal, Order of Egypt. Wow, that'd be interesting to know a little bit more on that, Carl. It'd be interesting to hear that story. Mine is a Texan cowboy. That's the cup I had made, and I've also got a big portrait of him in another room of the house. He was my Texan cowboy. And we went back in his day working together, and he's now here looking after me on my reincarnated days of life. But yeah, it'd be interesting to know more about that, Carl. We watch.
But how do you find out who your guide is?
Well, there's many ways of doing it, and I will say from the start that you're not forced to ever know. Not even a good medium can come up and connect to your spirit guide. It's not always possible. I always say that the more open to spirit you are, the more likely you're going to connect to spirit. And it's not only through meditation, but it's through your beliefs as well. And I genuinely think that if you're not going about your day looking for them signs, then you probably will never ever see them signs. And I say that with respect, but some people who've never done a ghost hunt in their life or paranormal evening in their life, they'll go out and then experience something paranormal, bearing in mind that that word paranormal covers a vast array of things, from Bigfoot to aliens, and not only the spirit world. And it's only then when they open themselves up to this and go out further that they can start having experiences. Now, that isn't always the case, guys. It's not, unless you go out on a ghost hunt, you're never going to connect to it. Some people will have experiences all day long with spirit, and they just don't accept it as an experience, or they put it down to something else, or they just don't want to know. Now, with regards to meeting your spirit guide or connecting to your spirit guide, then it's not just like them appearing in the corner of the room and then saying, "Hi, we're here to look out for you." you may never ever know who your spirit guide is. And the more open you are to spirit, the more you kind of fine-tune your mind and work with the ability, the spiritual side of things and the mediumship side of things, the more likely at some point you're going to have a spiritual experience with regards to connecting to spirit. Now, I always say that we're all developing mediums. We all have the ability to connect to spirit, but it's how far you're going to let yourself go. And a good example of this is a friend of mine who's in the chat, Michael McIver. Although he had different experiences in his life, he didn't have any major experiences until I pointed him in the direction which I did. One of them was we took him out on our investigations as a group, me as a medium and GSI as the paranormal group. We also pointed him in the right direction of a spiritual church and the spiritual classes, the healing classes and the awareness classes thereafter. And many years later, this guy is now standing up on the podium and he's doing what I'm doing at a different level. He stood there and he's speaking to the people who were there at the spiritual church, and he's giving out readings to the individuals. We're all developing certain levels. Some develop more than others. Some may only just develop a little bit and know and be aware of spirit and the loved ones, but never have the ability to become clairsentient or actual clairaudient. Or the best gift is that connection with your spirit guide. He is my firewall, he protects me, and your spirit guide will be protecting you as a firewall, but it's whether you know that they're doing that. And I can tell you without rambling on too much that we all have a spirit guide. We have more than one guide in spirit looking after us, but this guide will be your major protector, your firewall, and she will be doing a great deal every minute of the day looking after you as guys. Believe it, whether you know they're there or not, you will.
You just answered the next question. Carl said, I was told by a medium I have up to 5 guards. Is that common?
Yes, it is. I always describe it, Carl, as circles, right? There's you within the circle and your spirit guide stood next to you, and then the outer circles will be your loved ones in spirit. So I'll have my mum and dad, my sister there, and me aunties and uncles and granddads, grandmas, things like that. And then the further out we go in this circle, then we'll have the animal kingdom, your pets, your beloved pets who pass over to the spirit world as well. And there'll be a lot more factors than that. We're all looking after each other in spirit. We're all helping each other out. It's as a good friend of mine said yesterday in his live stream, David Barrett, who's part of Supernatural UK, and I know you're on board with David, Carl. I know you're a good follower of his. There's no time in the spirit world. Time doesn't exist. Spirit can be here, there and everywhere at an instant to look after each and every one of us, because David's exact words was, man invented time, because before man came along there was no time. If that's exactly how he said it, I believe. But it was a very good statement it was he made, which I'll probably use that in my words of wisdom in time to come.
And Carl said, can I send you a friend request so I can have a chat with you?
Yes, you can, Carl. Please do. If I don't answer your message straight away, it's not that I'm ignoring you, because I do have other things to do after this live feed, but please do. My message box and friends requests is always open to everyone except porn. Talking about porn, just a little bit. Who else, and it can only be the male kingdom, keep getting sent all these random friends requests from semi-naked girls claiming to be from the next town of you, but then they do look like they've just walked off the beach in Miami. All of their friends on their wall are only male, and when you scroll down the post, it's all about the birds and the bees and everything else. I'm getting sick of reporting them, but yeah, please do send me a friend's request. I'll actually accept it as soon as you send it. I do. Any other questions, darling?
No. Carl's going on about clowns. Please don't talk about clowns.
Vicky has claustrophobia and she doesn't like clowns. So if it's possible, I'll change your profiles to clowns. She'll really love that. She will.
And I will defriend you. Please don't do that. I am scared to death of them. Yeah. I'm sweating just talking about the name.
Yeah. Vicky is not a lover of clowns. She isn't. Right. Any more subjects, guys? Tanya, thank you for joining us. Hope you're well. From Australia, who's 10 hours ahead of us. And believe it or not, it's winter where you're talking from now, isn't it? It's midwinter in Australia, and the temperatures will still be hotter than what it is out there now, and I'm sweating as we speak.
Karen's asked, could I ask Neil, how do we know when our guides change?
You'll find that your immediate guide will be with you from daybreak till dusk. From the start of your life till your transition, which is over to the spirit world itself. They're assigned for you from day one, and they are assigned to you for life. They're chosen for you prior to you coming into this physical world onto this earth plane, and the more likely come through with you as you carnate into this world from a previous past life. So that person will be with you from day one, it will be, and they'll be there to take you across back into spirit as and when they're doing a lot of years to come from now. But it'll be the same major guide from the start. Good evening, Janet, hope you're well. Thank you. I'm well, thank you. Anything else, Vicky?
Everyone's just saying that they hate clowns as well.
Spiders from me and clowns from yourself, yeah. I would love to know who my guide is from Sheila. Maybe when we meet up with you come October, Sheila, if there's anything there which I can give to you from the spirit world, then I'll take the liberty of doing that. Don't forget, guys, anyone who's following the GSI Paranormal page, we have a paranormal Halloween special coming up. It's at the Fox Inn in Gisborough, which is on the outskirts of North Yorkshire. It's an old coach inn, and it's 300-year-old.
And
what was it?
Sounded like a little girl.
All right, we'll listen back in the playback. It's 300 years old, and it's haunted by a little girl called Jennifer. We do have a link which we can share with you, and it's the newspaper actually covered this story, or more than one newspaper covered this story. Cass? And it's of interest. They thought it was as well. Let me just one, I'm going to get my dog to stop looking at feet because it's distracting me, and two, I'm going to find you this footage.
3 people have said that they heard it as well.
All right. Well, maybe because we were just about to talk about Jennifer, who's the little girl who haunts this location where we're going to. Right, there's the link. You don't have to read it now. You can have a look at it at a later date. Not only did our local newspaper cover the story, which is from that link there, but the national newspapers covered it as well. It's a Teesside pub in Teesside, of course, and it's over 300 years old. It's an old coach inn. It's myself connected to more than 2 landlords who still reside in this location, if though it's still their pub. The intelligent energy, they're walking about this location still in character as they were back then. There's also a little girl who comes back and forth on visitation. Now, she actually died outside the pub, a little girl called Jennifer, bless her, and also the residual and intelligent energies there from people who worked there back in the day, right down to a lady called Margaret who has a story to tell, which was quite violent as well. But yeah, we've connected every time we've gone to this location. We've been twice. We're going to be the first paranormal, I'm going to say GSI, are going to be the first paranormal company to do an event in there, and it's a ghost walk, meal and sleepover. The sleepover is optional for an extra £10, but for the whole of the night. It's going to be, like I say, a ghost walk. We're going to have a meal. We're going to do the paranormal evening itself, all for £50, and for another £10, then you've got the option to sleep over in the haunted rooms.
So there's only a few rooms left now.
There is only a few rooms left, guys. So if it's of interest, have a read of that story. Go to the GSI Paranormal page, and you'll see the link pinned to the top of the page talking about the Fox Inn in Gisborough. I know Sheila's coming anyway. Right. Any more questions, guys? Let's just check the time. Right.
There's Big Brother on yet.
Big Brother's on in 10 minutes, and I'll be switching off here so I can go and watch my friend Derek Akora. What I'm scared of is right. We'll talk about that later, Nicole. I've got your private message there. Thank you. We'll talk about that later on.
Robin's asking, do we ever get to the States?
We get in a state, but we don't get to the States. We are looking to tour the world one day, me as a medium and these guys as paranormal investigators, and as you're probably aware, and you can confirm this, Robin, but our audience is, with respect to the English guys, is mainly in America. There's more people in America who believe in the paranormal and practice the paranormal side of what we do than there is in the UK. It's a shame that the UK weren't on the same page with regards to spiritualism and the paranormal, but I'm sure one day as more evidence comes forward, then they will catch up and we'll kind of sync together like we do with spirit. But we've had a few opportunities to come to the States, but unfortunately these guys all have individual jobs which tie them down greatly, and you'll only probably find that when one's available the other one's in work, and vice versa. I'm a bit more of a free spirit, and I could probably make it easier to the States than these guys, but I think at this moment in time I'd rather take the paranormal family with me as well if I was going over there. Good evening, Marty Barfoot. Hope you are.
Carl has said, just to say, I have a girl about seven, brunette, shoulder length hair there with you. That's
going to be Jennifer. That's going to be Jennifer from the link I've just posted in the Facebook chat. Jennifer is the little girl who's connected to the pub, and because we've been talking about her a lot with regards to this forthcoming event, Carl, more than likely the noise Vicky claimed to hear, and you guys may have heard it as well, could well be Jennifer, the little girl. I normally have this door open whilst I'm doing my live feed, but I do get a lot of activity and distraction from the hallway out there from spirit, so I've chose to close it tonight because it kind of I'm talking to you, I'm thinking ahead of what I'm saying, and I'm also being distracted by the spirit which is normally around me, and the more I sit in front of a good audience like you good selves, then the more I get a connection with spirit. And because I'm not physically channeling me energy with spirit and these guys, then it gets a little bit distracted, and I just ask for that space whilst I'm doing this, which I've got at this moment in time. Right, any more questions? Don't forget that Gazette live feed. It's in blue, it's in the captions, posted by myself. You can have a look at that. All the people who've shared tonight, thank you very much. You can continue to share if you want to, guys. Sarah Grundy, thank you for joining us, and Nikki Knight, thank you for joining us as well. If you're just joining this live stream, if you probably missed the majority of it, and I do apologise, but the good thing about live feeds is the second they finish, you can watch them back at your own pace as and when.
Carl said, have you found record of the name, or is it the name that they gave her? Because I feel it's the wrong name.
No, being a psychic medium, Cal, I'd not only connected to Jennifer and she gave me that name, we have had confirmation through EVP and other spiritual connections from myself and these guys, but our researcher can't find any other.
We found Margaret, didn't we?
We found Margaret.
But there was no.
The other people who were connected to it, we've had it all confirmed.
Jennifer's correct. That the death of her outside, she was called Jennifer.
Yeah,
that is correct.
Yeah, I'm saying me as a medium have got that confirmation from Spirit, and the GSI crew have also got that information from not only from sensors but from other sources as well. And with it being a public house / hotel, then all this information was traceable. But they went off and did that and got that confirmed.
Yeah.
If you got another name with you, then maybe you're linking into someone else. It would be interesting to know what you are linking into and what your findings are, Carl. That would make a good conversation as well. I'm aware spirits around me, but I'm not focused on that, so you may be able to pick up that link stronger than what I can as well. And the same with other guys who are watching. I know there's a lot of sensitive people here.
He's apologising. We didn't take it that way, Carl. I didn't think he was being rude or anything. He says, I wasn't trying to second guess you, sorry, but we didn't take it that way at all.
No, not we. I personally didn't take it that way, and my partner Vicky didn't take it that way as well. We're not here to make judgment on what people are saying, and I know there's no malice in what you guys text and say, so no, don't apologise, don't ever apologise, and no, we didn't take it that way as well. Michael Smith, if that's you joining us as well tonight, then thank you very much. You what, Vicky?
I said it's time to go. Everyone's going because Big Brother's on.
Yes, Big Brother's on, guys. I'm gonna wrap it up here tonight. I will say this time next Tuesday I'll be back at 8:30, and if it isn't a Tuesday, then I'll let you know. It's either going to be a Monday or a Wednesday. Thank you for joining us tonight, guys. Even Cassie's saying a hello to you and goodbyes to you as well, guys. But yeah, anyone who's just joining this channel now, my name's Neil Cook. I'm a spirit medium, and the time now, and I always say this because after the live stream is finished, people are still shouting hello and everything else. So all I want to say is love and light, guys. Have a good evening. Thank you for joining me. If there's anything else you still want to ask, then please add it to the comments, and once I get finished with something else, which I'm doing very shortly, as well as watching Big Brother and Derek Akara, then I'll do my utmost best to get back to you and answer you. But yeah, feel free to still comment, feel free to still let me know where you're watching from, and feel free still to share. Good evening, guys. Thank you for joining me, and have a safe night, guys. Thank you very much.